You know, it has been quite a while since I had to do a video on Portugal, aka another Greece. Same reasons, same everything. It's just another Greece. GDP, debt to GDP is way too massive. Implemented austerity that the Eurozone club members wanted to do. People are not buying it. They vote in a new the media is calling a left-wing party. Don't know exactly how true that is because they're trying to say they're super socialist, communist. I don't know, haven't done the research, but I do know that people have voted for them in quite large numbers, and they won this majority. They now have the majority party in Portugal, except with them in charge, they're not going to be pro EU friendly and keep this terrible austerity on their citizens. They want to try to get the hell out of there and just leave the euro zone and bring back their own currency and start over. That's what they want to do. So here's this from the Telegraph. Eurozone crosses Rubicon as Portugal's anti-euro left banned from power. Anti-euro left is banned from power? How do you get banned when you just won? I I had to see this. I had to read this today. What the hell? Constitutional crisis looms after anti-austerity left is denied parliamentary prerogative to form a majority government. Portugal has entered dangerous political waters. For the first time since the creation of Europe's monetary union, a member state has taken the explicit step of forbidding Eurosceptic parties from taking office on the grounds of national interest. It's in the interest of the nation that the people voted. Oh, hold on, brain cannot compute. Cannot compute. Let's try that again. For the first time since the creation of Europe's monetary union, a member state, the member state being Portugal, has taken the explicit step of forbidding Eurosceptic parties from taking office on the grounds of national interest. But the national interests are the ones who voted, because that's the nation. The national nation people voted for this party in huge, overwhelming support, but they can't take office because of the grounds of national interest. Okay, let me continue on this one. Anibal Cavaco Silva, Portugal's constitutional president, has refused to appoint a left-wing coalition government, even though it secured an absolute majority in the Portuguese parliament and won a mandate to smash the austerity regime bequeathed by the EU and IMF Troika. He deemed it too risky to let the left bloc or the communists come close to power, insisting that conservatives should soldier on as a minority in order to satisfy Brussels and appease foreign financial markets. Insisting that the conservatives should soldier on as a minority in order to satisfy Brussels and foreign financial markets. Don't you need to satisfy the people? If you have a whole bunch of cattle, and you elitists call us cattle, right? So let's go there. We're cattle. And the cattle's got to eat and munch on the grass. Master, moo, we're running out of grass over here. Hold on, guys. A spokesperson for the cow sheep or the sheep. We'll be sheep. Sheep will. I'm the spokesperson. I'm going to talk to the master or the president. Oh, he says. Hold on. Say that again. No, seriously. I gotta say that to them. Okay. Listen, fellow sheep. The grass is gonna keep going and dying off because he needs to use the money that he would get to replant and water the grass to some other foreign entity. Sheep number 1, go ahead. He wants to know why he would do that when we're all going to die because of the policy of him not doing that, which will then kill him. Because his sheep die, his whole system here dies with it. I don't have to ask him. I already know the answer, so I'll answer you, sheep number 1. Sheep number 1, the answer to your question is that he holds no allegiance to this system here or this country. And the second there's trouble, he flees, and his other buddies, non-elected officials, will take him in. He'll get some other position, some other place. This whole area means nothing to him. So then the sheep get together and say, well, then he must be the enemy of our state or of our little grass field. And what are you sheep going to do about it? The answer is here. What are the sheep going to do about it? And I read it month. What is it? Next year. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Found it. There can be no fresh elections because we need new elections. We can't deal with this guy. We voted these people in. They can't take power because the president says it's national interest. We need to hold elections. Snap elections. Get rid of this guy because he's a danger to society. Menace to society. Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. There can be no fresh elections until the second half of next year under Portugal's constitution, risking almost a year of paralysis that puts the country on a collision course with Brussels and ultimately threatens to reignite the country's debt crisis. Now, I would like to just, if you don't mind, do this on the fly like I do when I find something sweet. And I'm going to add this old baby real quick like to the back of my screen. Because this is something good. I want you to take a good look at that. Portugal and Greece. Sitting in a tree. Kissing. First come austerity, then come pensions, then comes riding in a baby carriage. Green is Greece. Now look how good Greece has dropped down. You could say, oh, look where it used to be, and right, this is real GDP. Man, Greece was great. Look at that, man. Look at that, 140%. Oh, Greece was that deal, right? Spain was doing great, right? Look, Spain, man. And then all of a sudden, it fell off a cliff. And then it fell off a cliff. And look at Greece and Portugal now, which is right there. Greece and Portugal sitting in the tree. And you look at their real GDP, right? They're both down at the bottom. They're both in trouble. And they're asking for more austerity. And they've said 20 years. Where's that 20 at? Give me that 20. I read this earlier on here today. The IMF warned that Portugal's export miracle remains narrowly based. The headline gains flattered by re-exports with little value added. A durable rebalancing of the economy has not taken place, it said. The president has created a constitutional crisis, said Rui Tavares, a radical Green MEP. He is saying that he will never allow the formation of a government containing leftists and communists. People are amazed by what has happened. He also said, Mr. Tavares said, the president has invoked the spectra of the communists and the left bloc as a straw man to prevent the left taking power at all, knowing full well that the two parties agreed to drop their demands for Euro exit, a withdrawal from NATO, and nationalization of the commanding heights of the economy under a compromise deal to the forge or I guess he meant to say to forge the coalition. This foolish treaty law. So he says President Silva may be correct in his calculating that a socialist government in league with the communists would precipitate a major clash with the EU austerity mandarins. Mr. Costa's grand plan for Keynesian reflation, which doesn't work either, led by spending on education and health, is entirely incompatible with the EU's fiscal compact. That's a little treaty. This foolish treaty law obliges Portugal to cut its debt to 60% of GDP over the next 20 years in a permanent austerity trap, and to do it just as the rest of Southern Europe is trying to do the same thing, and all against a backdrop of powerful deflationary forces worldwide. Good luck with that. Good luck keeping your head above water as the water is rising, is what that's saying. The strategy of chipping away at the country's massive debt burden by permanent belt tightening is largely self-defeating, since the denominator effect of stagnant nominal GDP aggravates debt dynamics. It is also pointless. Portugal will require a debt write-off when the next global downturn hits in earnest, and as you can see, that has already started. There is no chance whatsoever that Germany will agree to EMU fiscal union in time to prevent this. The chief consequence of drawing out the agony is deep hysteresis. Hysteresis? What the hell is that? When you just say hysteria, in the labor markets and chronically low levels of investment that blight the future. Mr. Silva is effectively using his office to impose a reactionary ideological agenda in the interest of creditors in the EMU establishment and dressing it up with remarkable chutzpah as a defense of democracy. And there's another great word here. I gotta find this piece. Not a word. This is this is fantastic. When I got to this part, hold on. Oh, here he goes. The president speaking over there. He deemed it too risky for these again to come in, insisting the conservatives must soldier on as a minority in order to satisfy Brussels and appease foreign markets, financial markets. Democracy must take second place to the higher imperative of Euro rules and membership. Quote, in 40 years of democracy, no government in Portugal has ever depended on the support of anti-European forces, that is to say, forces that campaign to abrogate the Lisbon Treaty, the Fiscal Compact, the Growth and Stability Pact, as well as to dismantle monetary union and take Portugal out of the euro, in addition to wanting the dissolution of NATO, Mr. Silva said. Democracy must take a back seat in order for the higher imperative of the euro rules and membership to take place and stay strong. This is what we've been crying all these years. So many people, this euro thing, it's just a new world system. They're going to suck you in once your country's in it. They're going to be setting rules on your country. Your citizens ain't going to be able to get out of it. They're going to take priority over your constitution. Oh, no, come on. No, it's not true. They just said it right there. Democracy must take a second place to the higher importance of Eurozone rules and being a member. And we want to be a member. So these unelected, selected officials in the EU zone dictate to the country's elected officials what to do. And the elected officials tell the people who elected them, I can't do what you want me to do because I stand strong with this other group. But hold on. You can't do that. You actually don't have the authority to do that. And he says, well, yes, I do. You voted for me. And they say, well, we'll vote you out. Not for around another year. So whatever happens, you people of Portugal are now going to suffer just like the people of Greece. You mark my words. I already said this a while ago. And this stands true to any country, by the way. Private companies, utilities, you name it, public things, they're gone. Austerity measures will demand, well, you weren't able to get your GDP up to the level that we suggested and you agreed to with your debt ratio over here. Yeah, but the whole world's sucking. No, I know, but you agreed. And since you can't, and you're essentially another Greece, privatization. Get ready for the IMF, Christine Lagarde, once again, just like I said she would do for Greece, and then she did it after I even said she would do it. They'll do the same thing. She'll come out. Portugal, we need to sell the public utilities, public transportation, public this, public that, public. And then you need a bailout. So you did all those things, we'll give you a bailout. Oh, we still can't pay the bailout, we'll give you a second bailout, but we're going to buy off more of your stuff, sell off more of your stuff to our club members and their companies who get filthy rich. Only to find out that when it all ends, they finally file for bankruptcy, just like Greece will. They'll restructure and start over. All the debt will get fixed, wiped away, whatever they do with it. And they don't get to say, well, since we said we were going to do this anyways, why the hell do we have to sell off all of our bread and butter for the country to private hands now that we filed bankruptcy anyways? We should have just filed bankruptcy to begin with and kept the assets. Well, that's what the people were screaming. But the elected officials that they had in power sided with the club members. And they threw them out, and another one came in, and I'm going to fix it. And he barked a big loud bark, and then ultimately caved. Yes, we're going to have to go with the EU. Yeah, sorry about that. But you said if we voted for you, you'd stop the austerity. I know, but for the better interest of the country. But we are the country. We told you, we voted for you for. Yeah, I know. Eh, it's not easy. It's not easy being cheesy. It's not easy being the big cheese, because when he steps down, he'll have a plus job for working for any of those club members. Oh, you tried to help the club? You tried to force it? You're good. You're golden. We got a job for you the rest of your life. Don't worry about the people. Just take care of your family. Like Rockefeller told Aaron Russo, what do you care about the people? Who cares about the people? Just take care of your family, take care of you. That's all that matters. Once again, you don't take care of that flock of sheep, you ain't gonna have a flock of sheep. And the sheep are smart enough to actually revolt and force you, or maybe kill you, depending on how history goes this time. And again, I say depending on how it goes, as if I don't really know. And look at past history. There's gonna be a lot of people who wind up dead, because when people have lost everything and they have nothing else left to lose, Joe Talente extraordinaire said, they lose it. And this time they're not just going to go after some random. I'm going to go randomly somewhere. No, I know who did this. I know who exactly is responsible for this. Yeah, I'm pissed off that my job had to fire me, but I'm not going to go back there and shoot them up. They had to cut, and I know why they had to cut, because this new government regulation and tightening, and who passed that? My local congressman did that. My local congressman did that. And then you try to call him to see, why did you do that? Why was that necessary? Why did you change this banking regulation? That's terrible. What you did to it was horrible. You've allowed the floodgates to open up in derivatives, buy-offs and bailouts. Oh, sorry, he's busy. You can't take your call. I'd like to come speak to him. When can I come? Don't know. I'll get back to you. Okay, then get back to me. Send a letter, fax, no response. You're going to come to the conclusion, maybe you even voted for that guy or girl, male or female, makes no difference. I voted for that son of a gun. I thought he said he's a Republican. No, I've been a Republican all my life, and the GOP, the grand old party, the GOP, and he did that, and I just lost everything, and I will refuse to go out like this and be homeless on the streets. If I'm going out with a bang. That's what they will say. That is what a person who has lost their mind will say and go through before they decide, I'm going to go act upon this, because I'm so angry, I'm so furious, and I'm so pissed off. I've lost everything, and I know who's to blame. I'll be honest, I'm amazed at even Greece, how they can string that along, and the people of Greece haven't really, really, truly risen up. Maybe they're all sucking down that water with fluoride in it. Keeps you docile. The fluoride does. In small amounts. It's poison, but in small amounts, it's safe to drink, FDA approved. And that just made me think of something. List, and this isn't for this video, but I want to just talk about for 1 second. List of FDA approved drugs that were banned, or no, let's change that word, taken off the market. Just curious if there's some, I've never searched for this in my life. But here's a quick thing, prescriptiondrugs.procon.org, 35 FDA approved prescription drugs later pulled from the market. Cause for recall: increased risk of birth defects, miscarriages, and premature births when used by pregnant women. That was something called Accutane. Over 7,000 lawsuits were filed against the manufacturer, and the side effects, including a $10.5 million verdict and two $9 million verdicts, for a total of approximately $30 million. Baycol, Bextra, Silert, Davron and Davroset, DBI, DES, Duract, Ergomisol, Hismanol, Lotrinex, Meridia, Meritol, and Elivol, Micturin, Mylotarg, Omniflox, Paladone, Permax. I can keep going. Do I need to? No. And these are only ones that got pulled. How many times you turn on the TV? And I could read these. I could read all these cause for recall. 30% of patients prescribed the drug had abnormal, I don't know how to pronounce that, 33 cases of rare valvular disease in women and 66 additional reports of heart valve disease. Another one, Posicor. Fatal interactions with at least 25 other drugs. Fatal. An example of one of the fatal drugs if you use this in conjunction with it. Common antibiotics. Oh, but you were taking Posicor while taking antibiotics? Oh, sorry, you're dead. Antihistamines. Oh, dead. Sorry about that. Any cancer drug. Oh, dead. Fatal interaction. Sorry about that. Posicor was found by the FDA to offer no significant benefit over other antihypersensitive or anti-anginal drugs, which made the risks of drug interactions unreasonable. They killed people. This drug actually doesn't do anything anyways. We got to pull it off the market. Because if the drug doesn't kill people and still doesn't really do anything anyways, but causes a million side effects, that's okay. We'll keep that sucker on the market. I could do a whole video on that, but the next time you see a commercial at night, you're watching your favorite TV show, whatever, they blast you with the drugs. They got the smiley lady walking, pushing her kid in the swing. She's happy. Music playing is beautiful. Side effects include fatal such and such, heart disease, liver disease, lung cancer, shortness of breath, vomiting, explosive diarrhea. But it clears up your pink skin. Plaque psoriasis. I think I'd rather just stick with the pink skin. If I'm to be honest, considering my alternative is to take this and my skin looks better, but I'm poisoning and killing myself so that I don't live any kind of long, healthy life, and then I need other drugs to fix the problems that this drug caused, and then I need new drugs to fix those secondary drugs that fix the first set of drugs, and then I need a third or fourth set of drugs to wean me off of the addiction of those drugs, or the final drug that was getting me off and dealing with the other drugs. And now I'm addicted to that one, and it's really expensive. Yes, they know that. They know it's addictive. And that's why it's so expensive. So that you can get legal drugs that many times are worse than most street drugs that are illegal. That's why pharmaceutical agencies are filthy rich. This club, uh, the club members in that industry, the pharmaceutical industrial complex, are absolutely filthy rich. Again, you are cattle to them. Like Lindsey Williams said one time, he said, these people aren't dumb. They're very smart, these elitists. All the stuff they create for you, the stuff they get you addicted on, the cigarette, the smokes, all that, the alcohol, all the stuff that's bad for you. He says, I've rubbed shoulders with them. I've been in the same meeting. I've been in board meetings with these, people standing around. They never smoke. They don't drink. They don't do anything that's harmful for their bodies. Now, granted, they're around the oil industry and stuff, and you might say that, like he mentioned the other day or whatever, about how they may get cancer. Um, you know, like he was talking about for himself. Not that he had cancer, but he went up to the clinic in Mexico. But he mentioned that his elitist friend may have went there first and told him about it, I think. And the reason that his elitist friend went there because he had some kind of cancerous little issue, which apparently got solved. But that's common if you're in the industry, in the oil industry, breathing in that crap. But they don't drink. They're not smokers. They don't, purposely hurt their bodies, get addicted on stuff. That's for their club members to make money off of you, sheep. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it now. Yes, I'm going to punch you in the face with the truth. It's going to hurt, and you may even hit the unsubscribe button. Maybe. This isn't that bad, though. But for each of you that pick up a cigarette and smoke that nasty thing every day, you are the sheep to them. You are their moneymaker while simultaneously poisoning your body. Stop smoking. Stop doing the crap that they put in front of you. You're making them filthy rich while they're hurting and killing you, and making it harder for you to survive, because now you got to buy these expensive cigarettes that we were told we're going to raise the price of these damn things so high. Not because we want to make profits. No, we're compassionate. We want to raise the prices to force you people to stop smoking. Really? Oh, really? Let me just. I promise I'm a search live. I've never in my life, I'll say it right now, ever search for this. Cigarette company profits history. Let's look at this first chart, shall we? Tobacco company returns 10 years. I'm gonna add this. I don't want to just say it. Give me 1 second. I want to add this for you guys. Get rid of that. Add this baby. Lo and behold, creep down here for a second. 2014, you see the dates, you see the times. When, how many, a few years ago they raised those prices, right? A few years ago. So we have the MO, the LO, and the RAI. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure what those are, but it says here. I mean, maybe these are the companies. Okay, so tobacco company returns 10 years. These are probably the companies themselves. Not sure who LO is, but boy, oh boy, look at the percentage down here. 50%, right? There's a 50% mark all the way across here. Boom. Where's that red one at? 662%. 662%. 350, 450, 550, 662. We just want people to quit smoking, so we're going to make it harder for them to afford these cigarettes. A few years ago, look where the prices were for these companies. Look at what their profits were. Tobacco company returns, 10 years. Where are they at now? right after the recession, right? There's a recession 2008, and I want to see also while I got you on the video here, or why you got me on the video. When did cigarette companies raise the price? Trying to figure out when that big thing came out, because I remember this a few years ago. So here, okay. This is from tobaccofreekids.org. The cigarette companies have opposed tobacco tax increases by arguing that raising cigarette prices would not reduce adult or youth smoking. But the company's internal documents disclosed in the tobacco lawsuits show that they know very well that raising cigarette prices is one of the most effective ways to prevent and reduce smoking, especially among kids. Now, I don't know about you, tobacco-free kids, or this way. Let me point to it the right way. I guess you didn't see that chart, tobacco-free kids. Raising the price doesn't do anything, except maybe it does. Maybe they're right. Maybe it does deter youngsters. I don't want to spend that much on a pack of cigarettes. That's stupid. I'd rather, I'm a kid and I got $500 a month car insurance payments. That's absurd. I have to deal with that. And the rest of the suckers who are addicted and can't get off, and I don't blame you for being addicted. It's a hard fight to fight, but you can do it. You can do it. Trust me. Or do you want to make these companies more and more filthy rich? You're using their system. I do not bank with any of the club member banks. I don't do it. A friend of mine at work, he knows all about this stuff. He banks with one of them. Why? I don't know. Use a credit union instead. And I think actually he was talking about recently switching. Use a credit union or just another bank. Why are you using the club members bank? You know, one of the biggest reasons I stopped using AppMex for buying silver? They bank with JP Morgan Chase. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna stop using them. The issue is a lot. I hate to say it, some of these precious metal dealers out there still bank with the club. I don't think they do this in some kind of knowing fashion, like, oh, there's a club member bank. They're in the mindset, I just need a bank. I'm gonna use them, whatever. But keep in mind, who got all that bailout money? Who used all that money? Who went on to make the biggest profits, corporate profits you ever seen? Who went on to become the CEOs, take their biggest take-home paychecks ever? Thanks to that bailout from you. So when you get foreclosed on or you can't pay your credit card and they're trying to sue you or whatever, just remember who it was that did it. Take care.